Good morning, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and welcome back to our Senate election updates every week on Mondays. The reason why I didn't have any videos up last week is, like an idiot, I forgot to bring my computer's charging cable when I went on vacation. And I just didn't feel like buying a new one. Follow me on Google Plus and you'll get all those updates and all that. I haven't figured out how to post comments so that all of you can see them on my YouTube. And I'll get to that at some point. I've just got a lot of stuff in real life, but I can still push out, weekly Senate updates as well as election predictions on Wednesdays, especially considering we're getting up to the 2020 presidential season very shortly. I really need to stop saying don't I? It's just a force of habit. Anyway, so we're going to be looking at 5 states, even though I only have 2 tabs up here: Arizona, North Dakota, Indiana, Tennessee, and Florida. And this is because of a few reasons. Actually, I'm going to also change Wisconsin to likely Democrat. I just don't see Tammy Baldwin being unseated yet, but it's possible. So we're going to go and start with Arizona, which it looks decently narrow, and this is the only poll recently to cover any state, and also only poll to include July, and that's about 4%, and that's consistent with the average. So I could see Kirsten Sinema pulling this off very narrowly. It doesn't really change anything, but it just increases my confidence in saying that it's going to be a very close race. So now on to North Dakota, which Inside Elections changed theirs to Tilt R, and I'm okay with that, and I kind of agree. I've been calling it leans Republican for a while now. And that's because I see Heidi Heitkamp is very vulnerable, and in a good Democrat year, she only just narrowly won her seat for her first term. So it's unlikely that even in this good of a Democrat year, she'd be able to win North Dakota, considering it's not a state the Democrats should have won in 2012. She just campaigned really hard and won the seat. But I think with the momentum of North Dakota still liking Trump by a decent amount, she'd hold on to that. Montana is a completely different story because Jon Tester is actually fairly popular in Montana. And even though Trump is also extremely popular, I just don't think Matt Rosendale is the type of candidate that can win Montana despite having a lot of help from Trump. And that brings us to Indiana. We haven't had any new polls or new information come out from Indiana. As far as I can tell, I've got, all these Senate races bookmarked everywhere, so I get alerts for all of them. And I haven't seen any significant new information. And that inclines me to keep it as leans Republican just because of the history of the state. It's a very Republican state, and it's also a state where, Mike Pence is going to be able to help out, even if he's not as popular as he was when he was first elected governor. And Joe Donnelly also only just barely won his seat because of some controversial comments made by his opponent in that election. Now on down to Tennessee. I'm still going to keep this as Leansville-Bredesen. It's a very narrow election. And all we're getting is, for this race, is either internal polls or it's kind of like Missouri. We're getting a lot of internal polls, and the nonpartisan polls that we're getting indicate a fairly close race. Most indicate that Bredesen is in the lead, but I just don't have a high enough confidence to say that he's going to win this seat. I think it is going to go to him, but we have to remember Tennessee is a very red state, but conservative Democrats can win, and especially if they are popular Democrats like Phil Bredesen was and still is. And now we go to Florida, and the only reason why I mentioned this, even though we haven't gotten new polling information, is that a lot of the, at least the portion that was polled of the Puerto Ricans who went to Florida in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, they like Rick Scott because he welcomed them and did a lot to help out for both Puerto Rico and the Puerto Ricans who came to the mainland. So that's a reasonable thing to suspect. Now, or that's a reasonable thing to assume. Now, does that mean they're going to vote for him? I don't know. And no one can. But is it something to consider? Yes. But I just don't know how to consider it. I don't have a high degree of confidence with this race because, number one, it's Florida. Number two, you've got a Democrat incumbent. Number three, you've got a governor who can self-fund. And it's just and it's going to be a competitive election regardless. However, since there's no new polls, I feel obligated to at least keep it as leaning towards Rick Scott. But again, the shade kind of indicates my confidence in the call. So the lighter shades, the pink and the very light blue, the sky blue, those indicate that I don't have a lot of confidence in that prediction and that it can very easily go the other way. And it's one of those that can change weekly. The next shade, like these states up here, this kind of steel blue, I guess, and this weird shade of red, I'm not sure what you would call that. Those are states where I have fairly high confidence, but it's at least a competitive race and I want to keep my eye on it. Anything in the darkest shades I am 100% certain about that, and unless things change, those aren't changing. And when I say unless things change, I mean we have to have major shifts in how Americans vote, especially how people from these states vote. Anyway, I thank you all for watching. By the way, here's what the map would look like if my predictions are accurate. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye.